It's Saturday, 9:30 a.m. and that means 12 more incredible watches have landed over at kibblewatches.co.uk. If you're new here, my name is James. I run Kibble Watches here in Clerkenwell, London, and every single Saturday, 9:30 a.m. we release new watches onto the website as well as multiple other watches throughout the week on our Instagram and our broadcast, so be sure to be following over there. And if you want to skip to a specific watch, let's say you're here just to see the fares on the table, you can do so via the description. There's timestamps for every single watch you see here, as well as a link to the website where you can see more photos, more details, you can see the price, and you can even make a purchase or book an appointment to come view it in person. So I'm recording this on Wednesday the 30th, and I have to say it's already been so busy, so thank you all very much. Typically it gets a bit quieter over the summer holidays, but I don't know what's going on this year. It's very, very busy, so thank you all very much. Keep it coming, I really do appreciate it. If you have a watch you want to sell, get in contact. We offer consignment or obviously a straight purchase or a part exchange. We try and work with people where we can, but obviously we can't make every deal work. And just to put it in perspective, I get offered around 20 to 25 plus watches every single day from the general public. So I would say 99% of the watches come from collectors, people like yourself who watch these videos. I very rarely buy from the trade, and that's a very fortunate position I'm in. I'm able to do that, so thank you all very, very much. So if you do see a watch you like here, obviously you can go and make a purchase, book an appointment, or send me a message if you want to do a part exchange, and we can see what we can do for you. As I say, it's not always going to work out, so please forgive me if we can't come to a deal, but just understand I'm being offered that many, and I am a one-man team with limited capital. I am not I don't have unlimited money to buy everything, otherwise I would. Okay, before we dive into the watches on the table, and there really is some great ones in this week's episode, what's on wrist? I'm wearing a beautiful Oris, and I think 90s Orises are massively underrated, and this is actually a reference 7460, so you can see it's a pointed 8 rectangular moon phase with that beautiful dial pattern. It's got beads of rice Oris bracelet, and this one's actually box and papers from 1996. Now I do intend to keep this one for a little while, but it will probably end up for sale eventually at some point. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this one on wrist. I love the size, it's such a great watch. And as I say, for the prices that these are a bit more expensive because they're quite a bit rarer, but other 90s Oris, pointed 8 specifically, you can get them so cheap. And I think they are incredible value for money, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. Now we're going to have to dive straight into the watch that I think is probably grabbing most of your attention, probably not all of you, but this is a gorgeous vintage Vacheron Constantin in 18 karat yellow gold on its integrated bracelet, and the weight of it is amazing. So the nice thing about watches like this is you are buying something that has intrinsic value. The raw weight of this watch melted in gold would be worth a significant sum. Now granted, it won't be more than what the watch is, and it hopefully will never get to that point, otherwise people just tend to melt watches rather than keep them, which is a shame, but this is definitely a beauty. So this is from circa 1970, and it's an automatic 18 karat yellow gold with a textured finish to the dial and the case and the integrated bracelet, which flows all the way through to that jewelry style clasp. It is incredible. Simple two-hand design. You have Vacheron Constantin Genève at 12 o'clock, automatic at 6 o'clock, and those applied batten indices throughout. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And you have a very interesting case shape which helps with the size and the wearability, which we'll come on to when we get there. As we start to look around the case, you can see really nice polished sides, hallmarks still visible at 9 o'clock, and then we come to 3 o'clock, you have a Vacheron signed crown. Then we come to this beautiful soft flowing integrated bracelet. Again, they just can't make them like this anymore, and that brings us to a jewelry style folding clasp where you have 2 adjustments on the clasp, and the full length and details can be found on the website. Now this is unsized, meaning it's not been cut, so this is the full size it was presented in 1970, and it doesn't have any kinks or tears in the bracelet either, which is very, very important. It's a fantastic example. As we flip it over, you can see a snap-on case back with the serial number still present over there, which is nice to see. And this is a reference 7391, and inside this is actually an ultra-thin automatic Vacheron Constantin caliber K1120, which actually has a gold rotor. There's photos of the movement on the website, so be sure to check those out as well. And as I say, the whole thing is 18 karat, so you've got an incredible weight to it. And it's from circa 1970. No box or papers with this one, but again, for under £5,000, I can't believe I'm saying that, under £5,000, these are silly value for money for a full 18 karat gold, far cheaper than almost all semi-modern Datejust, which just, again, is crazy. Anyway, here it is on my 7-inch wrist. You can see it's 31mm by 31mm on the case size, but it wears so much better than that because of the shape of the case. It's only 5.5mm thick, which is so thin. It's super low on the wrist, and 18.5mm on the integrated bracelet with a very subtle taper, so it again helps with the wearability, the fact it doesn't taper a huge amount. So be sure to check this one out on the website and pick yourself up an incredible deal, in my opinion, today. From a beautiful vintage gold watch, we're going to move over to a modern interpretation of a time-only Navitimer. So this is actually the Breitling Navitimer automatic 41mm in black with the gilt. My favourite of the bunch, to be honest. They do a blue one, which is very attractive as well, but this black and gilt, I think, works perfectly. So what you have here is essentially a Navitimer without the chronograph, which to some people is going to be, you know, you can't do such a thing. And I get it for the die-hard fans out there, but I have to say, it's fantastic. It works beautifully, the design is brilliant, but then that should come as no surprise, really, because Breitling, when it comes to design, certainly know what they're doing. And for some people, the Navitimer is a bit too complicated in terms of design and look, whereas this simplifies it, still keeping that sliding rule rotating bezel with sort of like the beveled edge around the bezel as well to make grip nice and easy. So you've got a black dial, gilt or gold on the indices, hands, and the logo that's applied at 12. Date nicely tucked away at 6 o'clock. As we come to the case, it's all sort of highly polished and very nicely angled, as the Navitimer always is, and a crown at 3 o'clock, which is big and signed to make using very, very easy. And then we come on to the fully polished 5-link bracelet, again sort of very iconic from modern Breitling, with a folding clasp as well, as you can see right there. As we open it up, you can see a closed signed case back, which is screw down with the reference and serial very clearly stated, and beaten away in size the automatic Breitling caliber 17. Now this is a reference A17326, and this exact model comes from May 2023 with its box and paperwork, its bracelet, plus an additional Breitling black leather strap. So you've got the best of all worlds with this watch, because switching from the bracelet to the leather gives it a completely different look. So be sure to check those out. Now here it is on my 7-inch wrist. It's 41mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, so it wears really well on the wrist. Only 9.5mm thick, so under 10mm, so very thin, and 22mm on the lug. So that wider lug width just helps with the wearability, makes the watch appear bigger whilst not wearing any bigger, which is really nicely done. So be sure to check this one out on the website today. And now that brings us to a personal favourite of mine with the Omega Seamaster lineup, and this is the Omega Seamaster GMT 50th anniversary in 41mm. You will see no helium escape valve at 10, which I personally prefer. Not that it offends me too much, but I do just prefer it without the helium escape valve. Now this was made to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Seamaster line in 1998, and this exact model we have right here circa 1999 with its box and paperwork, which you don't see often. But what you've got is a really nice black wave dial, which is matte, bold sword hands, which again I really prefer over the other Seamaster hands personally. A red GMT seconds with GMT stated at 6 o'clock. Date over there at 3 o'clock, and then you come on to this black and silver aluminium bezel, and this one is ever so slightly faded, which is really nice. It does rotate both ways. I always find these bezels can be a little tricky to rotate sometimes because the sort of the edging around the bezels are quite soft, so you haven't got the best purchase and grip. So do just keep that in mind, but it's a really lovely example nonetheless. Then we come to the case. You've got that iconic Seamaster twisted lug 41mm case with brushed sides, polished on the bevels, and a big signed screw down crown in those crown guards at 3 o'clock. Then we come to the Seamaster bracelet, again another thing I think we've all become very accustomed to, with a push button open clasp, which is very 90s, where it has that sliding adjust to get it over your hand easier, and then sliding it down to sort of close it, if that makes sense. You've got a 50-year signed screw down case back right there, and inside is an automatic Omega caliber 1128. Now this is the reference 2534.50, and they just don't come up that often. And I think for the prices, around $2.5 grand, especially this example with the box and paperwork, is an absolute steal. So here it is on my 7-inch wrist, as you can see. It's 41mm by 47mm lug to lug. 12.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug, so endless options for this one. I would highly recommend giving it a try either on the bracelet that it comes with, because it's very comfortable and it's a good looking watch, or leather straps, rubber straps is so versatile, so be sure to check this one out if you're after a bit more of an interest in GMT. Okay, now we've got two Grand Seikos and we're going to start with the titanium snowflake. Now this isn't the one you're probably thinking, it's not the spring drive, this is actually a 37mm 9F quartz with the snowflake dial. This is perfect, so let's take a closer look. Here you can see that gorgeous snowflake textured dial, Grand Seiko stated at 12 o'clock, and that is it when it comes to the dial. Simplicity at its best. Applied indices, Zaratsu finished sword hands, blued second hand, date at 3 o'clock. You can't get much better than this. Polished bezel, and as we take a closer look at the case, you can see brush tops polished on the sides with those really nice sharp angles, which work beautifully with the design, and a crown at 3 o'clock. Then we come on to the bracelet. You can see that 3-link bracelet with polish on the center parts with brushing as well. Again, all titanium, so the watch is just incredibly light, and you have a push fold open clasp right there. Now you have got half links to make sizing a bit easier because you have no adjustment on the clasp. Then we come to the case back, screw down, as you can see with the Grand Seiko emblem right there, and ticking away inside is the Quartz Grand Seiko 9F62. Now this is the reference SPGX 355G, and it's from October 2024 with its box and paperwork, and it comes with a hardened titanium as well, so it holds up to scratches that much better. And I have to say, if you're after a 9F Quartz Grand Seiko, this is a fantastic model to consider. The size at 37, the design, the titanium, it just fits so well on the wrist and just looks amazing. And again, it's one of those models that's performed very well. Whilst you can pick these up at an absolute bargain compared to retail, they've not lost a huge amount in comparison to some other models, so a good one to pick up. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist, 37mm by 44mm lug to lug, so really compact on the wrist in a good way. Only 10mm thick, again super slim, and 19mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes, so you can swap out straps nice and easy. And this will be a definite strap monster when it comes to leather and suede and things like that. A blue suede on this would look killer, but then again, I am a sucker for suede, so go check this one out on the website today. And now for another 9F Quartz, but this time the GMT. I've had quite a few of these models, and this is the first time I've had the grey and black, so the very monochromatic with the fixed bezel. I think this is probably my favorite so far of the bunch, so let's take a closer look. You have a wonderful gloss black dial, Zaratsu finished sword hands, as you can see with lume, a white or sort of more grey GMT, center GMT, as you can see, with Grand Seiko and GMT stated. Again, super simple, and they don't have to overcomplicate it. You actually have a black and sort of grey inner GMT disc on the rehole, as you can see, as well as a fixed GMT steel bezel. Date is placed over there at 4 o'clock, and as we sort of twist the watch around, you can see brush tops, polished sides, and crown, which is screw down at 4 o'clock. So screw down crown, it's got a great water resistancy as well. This is sort of a watch you can take anywhere and do anything with. We then come to the bracelet, simple brushed 3-link bracelet, not overcomplicated, and very attractive indeed, and a push button clasp that folds open with half links available as well to make fitting nice and easy because you don't have adjustment on the clasp. Same screw down case back with the emblem right there and some extra details, and ticking away inside this one is actually the Quartz GMT 9F86 inside, and these are a bargain. So this is the reference SPGN 027G, and this one is only $17.50 from July 2024 with its box and paperwork ready to go, a fraction of retail. And I think at those kind of prices, to get a Quartz GMT part of the 9F family from Grand Seiko is definitely hard to beat. So here it is on my 7-inch wrist, bigger than the other model at 39mm by 45mm lug to lug. So even though it's 2mm bigger on the case size, it's only 1mm bigger on the lug to lug, so it still wears nice and compact. 11.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. This is a great watch and a great pickup at well under £2,000. You cannot go wrong, so go check this one out on the website today. Now on to a Fears Brunswick, and this is a lovely example. I've had one before, and this is the second time having one, and the dial gets me every time. It's so subtle, so let's take a closer look. As you can see here, you've got a Brunswick 38, the classic size, with a sort of grained silver dial, which just catches the light and begs to be seen in direct light, because in other lights it goes a very dark colour and the sort of applied indices and hands just glow. It's very, very attractive and surprisingly legible. You know, in some photos it doesn't look legible at all. In person it is very, very legible. So this is actually a limited edition of, I believe, 25 total, in collaboration with James Porter & Sons, which are a retailer up in Scotland, the best country in the world, don't fight me on that one. And this is the reference BS23800B. As I say, limited to just 25 total. And as we take a closer look at the case, you can see the nice polished bezel, brushing on the tops, polished on the lugs, with that cushion case, polished sides, and a signed crown at 3 o'clock, which is an onion crown, makes winding very, very attractive and nice. And then as we flip it over, a spun screw down case back, and that is powered, inside there is powering the watch, a manually wound ETA 7001. So you really can't go wrong with those movements at all. It's paired on a black leather fierce strap, as you can see. But because of the tone of the dial, it's going to lend itself to a lot of different styles of straps, so be sure to play around. You could definitely do like a grey suede, I think that would look great. And this one's from August 2023 with its box and paperwork ready to go. So here it is on my 7-inch wrist. It's going to come as no surprise. This is the perfect sizing for me personally, although the Aurora in 40mm I do absolutely love. But this is 38mm by 43mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So if you're after a Fears, these are stupendous value, especially compared to retail, and the fact only 25 have been made, so be sure to check it out today. Now we come on to something a little more left field and surprisingly affordable for what it is. I think Maurice Lacroix, especially with this masterpiece selection, which is their own in-house movements, are seriously undervalued. Whether it's because of the branding or just brand recognition or the sizes because they're not particularly small, I suspect there's a few reasons, but I think if you are willing to give them a chance, you're going to be blown away. So let's take a closer look. So here we have this gorgeous dial, and at first it can look like there's a lot going on, but it's relatively simple, so let's go through it. You have obviously a lovely silver dial with multiple finishes throughout, as you can see. On the outer side you have applied Roman numerals, which are blued beautifully. 2 hands in the center for your hours and minutes, again blued. And at sort of 2 o'clock you have a power reserve. At 6 o'clock you have a pointer which shows you the day of the week, as well as a moon phase nicely tucked in there, which is beautifully done. And then you have a retrograde calendar between sort of 7 and 12 basically, or 8 and 12. And what that does is, a retrograde means the hand will flick when it gets to the end. So as it comes up towards 31, it will flick back to 1 and then make its way through again. Very nice use of space, and also just quite a difficult, as far as I'm aware anyway, quite a difficult thing to achieve. So well done to Maurice Lacroix for doing that. So a lot going on there, but once you understand, quite simple. We come to the case, you've got a really nice polished bezel, brushing on the sides, as well as some adjustment pointers, as you can see, for all of the complications. Crown at 3 o'clock, nice beveled edges on the lugs, which help with wearability because they slope down quite aggressively, which for the size makes it very, very comfortable. As we open it up and take a look at that case back, this is where it becomes quite surprising. That is an in-house movement, quite nicely decorated, big balance right there. It's quite large compared to most. And this is an automatic Maurice Lacroix caliber ML192. Now this model is from March 2018 with its box and paperwork, and it's a reference MP6588, and then it's got a load of other bits after that, which you can go see on the website if you are interested. Paired on a nice black strap with a deployant buckle. And these are under £2,000. I can't stress that enough. Under £2,000 for an in-house Maurice Lacroix complication that looks incredible, and yes, on the larger side, but if you can support it on your wrist, you're going to be blown away. And talking about on the wrist, here you can see it on my 7-inch wrist at 43mm by 50.5mm lug to lug, so it's not outrageous on the lug to lug length. 14.5mm on the thickness, so it's definitely on the thicker side, and 21mm on the lugs. So go check this one out, or book an appointment if you're unsure. give it a chance. I have had quite a few of these Masterpiece Maurice Lacroix in, and I've been blown away by every single one of them. So go check it out on the website today. Now on to a modern classic with the Tudor Black Bay 58, but this is the strap model. And I have to say, there's not many divers that can pull off a nice leather strap in my personal opinion, and this is definitely one of them from the modern range. So this is the Tudor Black Bay 58, which is a 39mm diver with that lovely black dial, gilt on the inside, so gold on the hands and the indices and the outer ring, gold on the text. It just has that vintage look and appeal, and that's translated over to that black bezel, which again has the gold accents as well as the red triangle at 12. Beautifully done, no date, super simple. You can't go wrong with these at all. As we start to take a look around the case, you've got brush tops, polished bevels with a polished side, and then a big large screw down crown at 3 o'clock, again with no crown guards, lending itself to that vintage look. Then as we flip it over, you can see a screw down sign case back, and beating away inside there is an automatic Tudor caliber MT504, and then it's paired on its nice brown leather strap, which is very thick, very comfortable with a deployant, and as I say, it looks fantastic. So this is a reference 79030N, and this exact model is from November 2023 in very good condition. And these are a nice chunk under £2,000 now. I can't stress that enough, under 2 grand for a Tudor Black Bay 58. That blows my mind. But here it is on my 7-inch wrist, 39mm by 47mm lug to lug, only 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug, so endless options for swapping this out. You can pick up a bracelet from Tudor if you so wish, or there's aftermarket options as well. But to be honest, I would very comfortably wear this a lot on the leather strap or a NATO or something like that, or even a rubber strap. So be sure to check this one out for a bargain on the website today. And now we come on to 4 Christopher Wards in this week's drop, and we're going to start with this one. This is the wonderful Christopher Ward C65 Aquitaine automatic green dial in 41mm, and as you can see, it has that really attractive green dial with that green bezel, which has this like Bakelite look. It's got that vintage appeal whilst being very modern. I think they've done a really good job of it. Simple Christopher Ward logo at 12 o'clock, date hidden away nicely at 6 o'clock in my opinion, with the colour matching to the indices, so it really works and blends well. And those indices are a mixture of sort of triangles and circles. Very, very nicely done. Trident tip on the counterweight of the second hand with a red tip on the second hand itself. And then we come to the case. Brushing and polishing, always done very nicely on these with nice angular sloping lugs. Big sign screw down crown at 3 o'clock with a red tube or barrel, I guess you'd say, which is just about visible. And then we come on to the bracelet. So this bracelet is still stickered on the underside. I think it may have been worn once or twice on it, but yeah, it's very, very good. That's a 3-link oyster style bracelet with big screws to make it really easy to size. And then it has a adjustable clasp as well, where you lift up the lever and slide it in and out. Very, very nicely done. And I believe this one also comes with a black Tropic rubber strap, which the watch was mainly wore on. So you've got 2 Christopher Ward, a Christopher Ward strap and a Christopher Ward bracelet. As we open it up, you can see the automatic Sellita SW200-1 inside, a workhorse movement, very affordable, and it makes these a great deal new at retail, but pre-owned an even better deal. And this one's from January 2024 with its box and paperwork ready to go. So here it is on my 7-inch wrist, 41mm by 46mm lug to lug, only 12mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs. So endless options for this one. Be sure to check it out on the website and pick yourself up a bargain. We then have a slightly earlier Christopher Ward, and it's great to see how the design language changed over the years. So this is a 2020 Christopher Ward C60 Trident Pro 600 Mark III 40mm. That was a mouthful. So you've got a really nice dark blue dial, which in some lights looks black, with a black bezel, so that contrast works beautifully. Baton style indices, Christopher Ward logo at 12 o'clock as well as at 9 o'clock with the writing. You have the depth written in red, again a very nice pop of colour. Date at 3 o'clock with a black date wheel, which again contrasts nicely with the bezel, it sort of draws it all in. Then we come to the case, that sort of iconic Christopher Ward brushing and polished case with nice angular bevels, very nicely done. Screw down crown at 3 o'clock, very large screw down crown I will say, so it makes it really easy to use and set. And as we flip it over, you can see a screw down case back with the Trident emblem proudly stated right there. And inside is the automatic Sellita SW200-1, so they've been using this movement for many years, and rightfully so. It's a fantastic movement. This comes paired on its rubber, I believe they call it a hybrid blue strap with the sign buckle, and it just goes perfectly with the design. And you can still pick up bracelets for these from Christopher Ward as well. This one's from December 2020 with its box and paperwork ready to go. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 40mm by 47mm lug to lug. Only 13mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So a great option if you're after a very attractive modern dive watch. You can't go wrong with one of these. So go check it out on the website today. And then we come on to 2 Christopher Ward Malverns. I've had a few of these in the past and I haven't had one of these in a long time. We're going to start with this one. This is actually the Christopher Ward C5 Malvern Slimline Squared. Square manually wound 37mm. The dial on this is stunningly simple, white with the Christopher Ward logo and the Slimline Squared logo or writing I should say, at 6 o'clock. Sword hands, faceted batten indices which just catch the light beautifully. It's simple, it's elegant, it's almost Bauhaus in its design, I would say. You have this square case which actually has a sort of bevel going all the way around it, so a step I should say, from the lugs to the case. Very nicely done with polish and brushing throughout with the polished bezel. A big crown at 3 o'clock makes winding and setting very, very easy. And then as we flip it over, you can actually see an exhibition case back with a manually wound ETA 7001. So the same movement we see in the Fears and a lot of other brands. And this actually has a decorated main plate with the Christopher Ward repeating logo. Now I won't bore you the reference, incredibly long reference for this one, but it's from July 2018 with its box and paperwork paired on a very nice Christopher Ward brown leather strap with a push button deploying clasp as well. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 37mm by 44.5mm. It's the perfect size for a square watch in this design in my opinion. Only 8mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug, so be sure to check out this awesome watch at quite a chunk under £500. It's ridiculous value, so go check it out today. And now we come on to the last watch of the drop. This is a Christopher Ward C5 Malvern 595 manual in 39mm. This is simple elegance from Christopher Ward. And I hope they bring some of these sort of models back. I know they've got a great lineup at the moment, but them branching out a little bit more into some dressier pieces I think would be great, and this is a great place to start. So Christopher Ward logo at 9 o'clock, simple white dial, black markers and black hands as well, with just 2 hands, very nicely done. You have a polished case with subtle brushing on some parts and a signed crown at 3 o'clock, which again makes winding and setting very easy. As we flip it over, an exhibition case back again with a manually wound ETA 7001 inside. This one's from July 2020 with its box and paperwork paired on a very attractive tan leather strap with signed pin buckle. And yeah, you really can't go wrong with these. Just like the other one at under £500, it's a hell of a lot of watch for the money, and it's nice to have a slightly earlier Christopher Ward as well. So here it is on my 7-inch wrist at 39mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, so nice and compact on the wrist, and only 5.5mm thick, so super thin. Probably one of the, I think it is actually the thinnest Christopher Ward they've ever made. 20mm on the lugs, so endless options for this one, so be sure to check this out as well as all the others on the website today. So there we have it, 12 watches in this week's drop, some really incredible pieces. As always, let me know down in the comments what's your favourite. For me, it has to be the Vacheron, and then I think it's the Omega Seamaster GMT, but I love the square Christopher Ward for under £500. I think is stupid value for money. There's some great stuff. I mean, this has to be one of the cheapest Black Bay 58s on the market at the moment at under £2,000. So yeah, there's some really great bargains to be picked up this week as well as next week. I'm working on that drop. Again, more awesome things as well as some wacky stuff, some stuff that most people have probably never seen. So I look forward to bringing all that to you guys and girls soon as well. So thank you all very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all again next Saturday for another incredible drop. So we'll see you then. Take care.